so happy to have you here.
So much fun to be here.
It's just making my whole new year like bright and shiny.
All right.
I
Come
know.
on.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
And now we are going to be educated by the fabulous Nancy Weiser.
Hi, everybody.
Nancy, good
Hey,
to have
Nancy.
you back.
It's
The
so
timing,
happy to be back. I always
timing
love
is
being
great.
with you guys.
Timing's great. We love having you here.
All right. Well, before the break, we were talking about Aquaman, and you
Yes.
gave me a little tidbit
Little
because I
tidbit.
wasn't that familiar with the lead actor.
Yeah, so the lead actor in real life is married to Lisa Bonet, who is, I believe, 12 years older than he is. I think he's 39 and she's 51.
But she was always such a hot girl.
Very hot.
She's the
Yeah.
girl that was in the Cosby Show, right?
And she was in Angel Heart,
Yeah.
which was banned from the theaters after a week. And I'm
Right.
not sure that this show is appropriately rated to
Right.
continue that part of the discussion.
All right.
Oh.
All right. Well, you know, I just want to throw in what's interesting about Aquaman, and one of the reasons why you don't have to have 10-year-olds to go see it is that it's really about the sea retaliating against the land for all of the garbage that we put into the oceans.
Wow, Kim,
That
that
is
is very
fascinating.
prolific.
Good message.
And it's
Yeah.
a great message,
Yeah.
and they sort of say, hey, wait a minute. We've got some control over what you land people
I
are
kind of got
doing
that
to
from
us.
Searching for Dora, though.
It's interesting. All right. Well, if you want to stick with Dora.
I'm kidding.
Anyway, so what are we going to do this year? What's new?
What's new? I think, well, it's what's new, what should be new. I mean, there's always fad diets to talk about.
Right.
And, you know, right now the thing seems to be intermittent fasting or paleo or keto. These are all things that people are doing. But I think that you can kind of simplify things for yourself by just always getting back to basics.
Yeah, you don't want to shock your body because it's just gonna backfire later, right?
Yeah, and there's, you know, we're meant to eat with the sun. We're meant to eat from when the sun comes up until when the sun goes down. We're not meant to...
That's a great.
You know,
I
so
didn't even think about
breakfast
that.
in the morning, if you've been fasting all night, which if you finished your dinner before it was dark, you have been doing. So you don't have to really be doing intermittent fasting. You should be just doing regular fasting, which means you haven't had anything to eat for 12, 13, or 14 hours.
And you're dehydrated.
Wait
right?
a second, 12 or 13?
Yeah, you're done
When
eating.
are you going
Yeah.
to bed?
You're
8
done.
o'clock?
You're done with eating.
done with
Eating.
eating.
You're done
Eating.
eating. I'm
okay.
hoping by 6 or 6:30, even 4:30 would be really
Yeah,
good. But
Oprah
let's
said
just go with 6
So
or
the
6:30.
earlier
I heard
you
7 is
eat,
the
The
latest.
earlier, right. The earlier, lighter, what did we used to call dinner when we were growing up? Some of us who were here.
Supper.
Thank you. Derived from the French soupe. It's supposed to be a little bowl of broth.
It's
that you-
light.
That you
As
finish.
if.
That you,
As
as if, yes. But you suppose that would be at around 6. You would quote unquote fast until the next morning when you break fast. Get
Okay.
it? Break fast.
Do you
but
re-
if you're eating popcorn and ice cream in front of the TV, you're not been fasting, so you can't break your fast.
Do you agree with this, Nancy? You eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper?
I do. The only thing I would say is that it doesn't matter breakfast and lunch, which one is better.
Okay.
There's an argument for lunch being bigger, that your metabolism is at its highest
Oh,
when the
okay.
sun is at its highest.
Okay.
So everything is coordinated with the sun. So if you start to think that way, you don't need to think about any particular fad diet. And then sort of what percentage you eat. It should be a plant-based diet. It should be mostly plants, and you should start to think of animal protein, if you eat it, as a condiment.
So, Marty, on the 14th hole at Clint Eastwood's golf course, do not get the ice
Do
cream.
not get that ice cream.
No.
Yeah.
Well, no, you can get it at like 11 a.m.
Well, but could you answer this question, Nance?
Yeah.
What about exercising, and how much time do you need to have from the meal until you start exerting yourself?
It
My
depen-
grandmother said, "Don't even go in the water
I remember
for
all,
2
all
hours."
our grandmothers said that, Marty.
Right.
Right. They all said
They
that.
were
There's
all
not a lot.
wrong.
There's not
Poor
a lot
grandma.
of logic to that.
Yeah.
Just it depends. Are you eating appropriately? Are you having a Thanksgiving feast and then trying to go, run a marathon? That's probably not a good idea. So just calibrate it to what you're doing. Just think about, what am I doing? So some people like to say I can work out after breakfast. Some people say I can just have like a smoothie, then I work out, then I eat breakfast. Do
Well,
whatever
I have
works
a
for
big
you.
salad for lunch.
With
so,
protein of some kind?
Yeah, maybe a little
Chicken or
chicken
something.
Okay,
or
yeah.
shrimp or
but
something.
The key is the word big. It should really be a big salad, like a really big salad.
Yeah.
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 Like a lot of food. That's at that time, because your nervous system is at its most active from 2 to 6 p.m. So you really want to kind of geared up for
If
that.
I know I'm going to play paddle at 2:30, I make sure I have like maybe a piece of toast with some peanut butter on it or something with some protein about an hour before I play, because I don't want to be sitting there starving while I'm playing. Because
So you're checking in with yourself. You want to be checking in on, how is this going to nourish me in body, energy and mood. So you
Okay.
already know I'm going to be exerting this energy an hour from now. I need to eat this.
Okay.
Okay, what about the whole idea of these tiny amounts of food on a regular basis?
There's
6 meals a day.
There's a
6
couple
meals a
different.
day,
There's a
like
cou-
for
yeah.
breakfast, I just read that if you eat cereal at all, it should be a fist worth of cereal. That's all. Like, this is how big your little cereal bowl should be.
Okay.
So
And then
little
fruit?
tiny portions.
Like
Right,
in
so-
a cup.
Like in a
so
cup.
The
Yeah,
idea
hello.
is to keep blood sugar stable throughout the day.
Sure.
So the idea of eating smaller meals throughout the day can work. There's a couple of arguments for and against it. So yes, I'm stabilizing my blood sugar by continuing to give it little bursts of energy throughout the day, hopefully mostly plants. But there's another school of thought that says my intestine needs to completely clean itself out between meals in order for me to support what's called my microbiome, my intestinal gut flora, where my immune system resides, where all of the good chemicals that make me feel happy are produced in my gut. And then the gut has this thing, it's called the housekeeper, that comes in through the small intestine, cleans it out, takes 5 hours to clean out.
Wow.
So some people will say the better thing would be to eat 3 solid meals a day, right? With the bigger ones being breakfast and lunch, smaller one at dinner, and you should be good. That would be like what Ayurvedics would tell you. Then there are other people. Right now, the medical medium is very popular. That's a book that's this kind of alternative guy, and he's saying these what you're calling 6 kind of small meals every 2 hours. Do you have time to do that? A lot of people wouldn't have time to stop their day 6 times to sit down and have a meal. So I think again, it has to be a balance, and you have to kind of see what your goals are and what you're demanding of your
lifestyle
body.
See, I think what
Yeah.
happens with the smaller meals, the incremental eating, is that you have a bag of nuts in your car.
Yeah, well,
I have
right.
them all.
Yeah. Well, first of all, no.
Marty?
Hello.
You don't want to be eating in the car. That's what I'm talking about. If you're eating your meals in your car, then that's not going to work for you.
All right,
Well,
so
you gotta be
backfired.
able to
That
sit.
backfired.
We've got professional golfers. They're on the golf course for 4 or 5 hours. Every once in a while, I see them have a banana. What else are they
Well,
eating, Marty?
usually no. A lot of players, they'll make sandwiches.
Sandwiches,
like
yeah.
a chicken sandwich, and they'll have a little bit after 6 holes, a little bit after
Right.
They're just
12,
carrying it with them.
and they just balance it. They put it right in the bag. It's
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But-
it does that consistency.
Yeah. Well, that's
thing.
what you're talking. That's
Right.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You want to be able to, for the insulin is like a ferry boat or a train which carries the glucose molecules. All food is going to break down into glucose, which is what we use for energy.
Yeah.
So the question is can that glucose ride on this insulin train into the cell to be used as energy? And the answer to that has a lot to do with the quality of the cell walls. And are they blocked up with bad fat from that? I don't know what that meal was you read before, but whatever that thing was.
Yeah.
The
Masters Champions
that is
dinner.
not going to allow the insulin to take the glucose into the cells to be used as energy. So that person eating that meal is going to feel
And that's
tired.
exactly what Patrick Reed has in mind, so that all the players the next day can't play well.
Exactly right. Exactly
Yeah.
right.
Right.
But yeah,
It's a
yeah.
conspiracy.
Practice round.
The next day is the par 3. So,
So it's
Exactly.
okay.
So
Yeah.
you want to be able to be thinking about how am I going to get my cell walls to be opened up so that the energy I need can be carried into the cells for me to feel energized.
So the message for golfers is don't overload after 9 holes. Don't go in there and have like a huge cheeseburger.
Better
and-
not to. But
Yeah.
like in your case, if you're talking like huge amount of food and it's salad, well then that's fine. That
Okay.
should be
Right.
fine. That should
Okay.
count, And with a little protein, I'm hoping to kind of again balance off that energy.
So there was the latest report on avocados that so many people will just slice up an avocado, and now they're saying if you don't thoroughly wash the outside of the avocado, then you're risking bacteria and dirt hitching a ride on the knife into
Well,
the
that's the
avocado.
same thing with anything you cut. Hello, honeydew, cantaloupe, all of those things.
Okay, no
I
one's
didn't even
doing
think
that,
about
Nancy.
No one's
that.
washing those
Whoa.
Nobody's
fruits.
washing
No.
those.
Ugh, I
I
am.
spray all of my fruits.
So
I have
he-
a-
we are.
a
We are. What's wrong? Wait.
vegetable
Uh-oh.
fruit
You guys are just-
spray.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yes. So or anything will do. Any kind of any
Do
kind
you
of
buy
soap.
that at the store? Your little
Yeah, well, I buy
sprayer?
a huge thing and
You
I
can get
fill
it at
up
Trader
and
Joe's,
I
I think.
spray everything before I eat it.
So
Oh,
because
jeez.
you're touching it and you don't want that to get
Well,
on the
it's
It's
inside
not.
of
It's
the
not even
flesh.
what you're
Tomato
touching.
is
It's not
just
even what
sitting
you're
out there.
touching with it.
It's
It's
what-
what it might have been sitting in
Right.
before
Yeah.
it came
Got
to
it.
you at the store.
All right.
So anytime you slice a knife through something, you are taking what's on the outside
Yep.
of it into the
That's
inside.
my New Year's resolution.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
wash
do
wash
that.
your
Okay,
wash
my
your
there
stuff.
you go.
vegetables.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's that's the food safety
I'm
hat.
loving
That's a different hat. From the,
Listeriosis.
Yeah.
That's what people are getting from this.
well, that would be, yes, that bacteria finding its way in there on their knife. Yeah, you want to rinse, even if you give it a really nice thorough wash with some warm water and a little dish soap. Hopefully use a natural brand. And
So you have to pretty much wash everything that you're going to eat,
you should.
except bread.
Yeah. Well,
And God knows
bread's
where
another
that
show.
is.
Bread doesn't-
That's
Nancy doesn't want you eating bread, Kim. No bread.
Right.
Yeah, but don't you think that if you have kids that are running off calories like crazy,
Yeah.
my kids are underweight, that I'm feeding them bagels and cream cheese for breakfast often because I need to fill them up.
But are they tired after they eat that?
They're never tired.
Is there a better time to eat bread? Is it okay to eat bread in the morning as opposed to eating bread at night, or you just can't,
You can't
eat
eat
bread?
at night,
period?
Marty. There's
So
no
if
eating at night.
if you're going to eat bread, you want to make sure that it is a good whole grain bread. But this is tricky.
It's
If
so
it actually
boring.
is, if it actually is a whole grain bread, it will weigh. It will feel like a brick, and it will. If you hold it in the bag and you put your arm down,
I
it
like
should
to
take you to the
toast that.
floor.
Yeah.
So it should be really heavy, and you need
Dense.
to read the ingredients, and it needs to say the names of the grains, and that it does not contain any kind of wheat flour that has been in any way processed.
Okay.
So when it says unbleached, unbromated, even if it's organic, wheat flour, that's the same as white flour.
So unbleached is not good.
Unbleached doesn't mean anything. It just still means that it's wheat flour and that it's going to put you on
Why
the
do they
sugar
even say
roller
that? Why do
coaster.
they even say unbleached?
Why do they say it? They think that you'll think that it sounds good.
Well, it worked.
Right, it worked. Exactly. Exactly. So there are some like nut and seed type breads where everything in there is a whole grain
See,
or a
I like
whole
the taste of
seed.
that, yeah.
Right, but you're better off really not eating bread.
Well, and I only have a small piece.
So there's something called crowding out, which is every time you're taking in that bread or the bagel and cream cheese, you're crowding out the opportunity to eat things that are truly health supportive and disease
Well,
preventative.
that's why we eat them.
Okay, right, okay, right. No, but so if you're trying to prevent disease and you're trying to eat for ultimate health and wellness, then you would only want to eat things that have all of those components in them. And every time you do that, it's playing Russian roulette. So will a bagel or cream cheese or a Dorito or pizza make you sick? The answer is nobody really knows. The answer is that what I would have had in its place, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, nuts and seeds, those things are going to prevent me from getting sick.
But you can't eat Brussels sprouts in your car.
Kim, I challenge you. I bet you could. You're right. You can't eat them in the car. Right.
Are
Exactly.
you in
Yes.
that much traffic? that you're
Yeah,
eating
good
in your
question.
No, I'm in that
Good
big a
question,
hurry,
Marty.
All right, Marty or Nancy, broiling, roasting, steaming. What do you recommend? Where is it going to lose its energy?
The more heat you give it, the more it's going to lose its energy. So on the whole, you want to try to eat as many raw fruits and vegetables as you can. I like to say half. There are experts other than me who say up, 85%, and there's other people who say 100% should be raw.
Wow.
Okay, so smoothies work nicely for getting a lot of this
But
raw
isn't
stuff
it
in.
harder to digest raw food?
It depends. If you chew it appropriately, you're not eating it in the car, right? When you're chewing slowly, we talked a little before the show, saying that how you eat is more important than what you eat.
Okay.
So the digestive process actually begins right in the mouth. So if you are chewing slowly, chewing mindfully, eating slowly, your saliva from your mouth
filling up sooner.
mixes with the food, and the digestion break. What Kim is asking about, the digestive process starts in your mouth. The nutrients start breaking down right in your mouth. If you're eating quickly, if you're eating food that melts in your mouth and just kind of gets slurped down, okay, ice cream or whatever, then your body is not having the chance to signal your brain that this food is coming and that my digestive enzymes will work all the way through my gut to digest it so I can absorb it. So you can get plenty of absorption of nutrients from raw fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
Okay, and then steaming would be next best.
Oh, steaming. I
would
do
be
that a lot.
Steaming is great
But
because
I love to convection roast my Brussels sprouts.
okay, so great. Then, like I said, enjoy it. Then just make sure
Marty, do you know how to convection roast?
God, no.
Okay, so you want to just make sure when you're doing that you are again eating slowly, enjoying it. Whatever way you can get more vegetables in, I'm all thumbs up about.
Well, I've gotten rid of rice and potatoes off my dinner meal. So
there you go.
Just vegetable and a protein.
Rice.
There you go. And just more vegetables and protein.
Okay.
Like
I do a salad and veggies sometimes.
Perfect.
Okay.
Copious. We will sometimes have 3 different vegetables for dinner as our dinner.
Wow.
Like big quantities. Asparagus, Brussels sprouts, kale.
Wow.
That's
Can you
dinner.
have like a brown garlic sauce like you would get at a Chinese restaurant on the broccoli?
If you make it yourself and you know what's in there. And there's no sugar.
That's a great point.
I think we have to take a break.
I think so.
We're going to take a short break.
This was too good.
We're
Too
going to
good,
come back
Nancy.
and we're going to talk butter.
Okay.
All right. We're going
Thanks.
to take a short break. It's 1490 WGCH.
Or at least